you're watching, you just landed on Life-Proof vinyl plank flooring from Home Depot. And if you're getting this, and before I got it, they didn't carry it in the store at the store I was at, but they carried it in other cities. So all I had was a picture to go by. And damn, are the pictures altered even on the Home Depot website? They're altered where they like modified the picture and not made it natural. This is exactly what it looks like with no filters. That's the word I was looking for. They've used filters on the damn thing to not let you know what it looks like. Would you just leave the picture of the original product and not change it up? So I'm over here putting it together and I'm showing you it's the multi-width. And if you're buying a multi-width tile by Life-Proof, you probably want to see this too so you can see what they're really all about and not just what they have on the photo website. Also, the instructions on there that they have for Home Depot tell you just to put it on a subfloor. Don't do that. Not if you're doing this on your own house and you care about your floor. No subfloor is made to be put. Stop it, let's get it away. No subfloor is made to just go ahead and take laminate vinyl plank flooring and put it right on it. What if you got a nail there or a screw and 3 years later the thing starts to shift and start to bump up? They want you to ruin your floor by telling you that. So that's a bunch of bull crap. Put Luan down. That's what I meant to try to tell you guys about that whole argument. I got 800 square feet of vinyl plank flooring that I put in. Make sure you go under your appliances. Don't do a shady job, especially if you're doing it for yourself. And the Luan is a 1/4 inch thick, and you're gonna wanna shoot a staple with a staple gun. It's not hard at all. You can buy a box of 5,000 staples. That's for you beginners who don't know about that. For about $15, you can get a air gun and all that. Probably for like 40 bucks for the air gun. If you already have an air compressor, you can hook that up. Just make sure you shoot all your staples all around to make sure that your Luan doesn't start to warp. So don't do the borderline. There's nothing else you need to put under here. Just make sure your floor is prepped and clean. And the whole idea of this is that you have a nice smooth surface and not so even. No, I never seen subfloor put in that was perfectly even. So if you want to go ahead and take that chance, you go ahead and do that. But anyways, the plank flooring, I'm going to talk about installing it. It's not so hard, but for you beginners, the #1 thing you need to do, because this stuff does expand and contract. If you've never done one, make sure you keep at least a 1/4 inch gap. And what I'm going to do when I'm done, I have an oscillating tool, and I'll probably touch that one up because you can see it's just a hair under where I want it to be. This part is good. Not so good right there, because in the wintertime this might start to expand. What does that mean? When this expands, what's going to happen in the center, if that other side expands, you're going to have a buckle in the center. So this is called a floating floor. So you're going to want to make sure that what it floats is, you don't put an island like that sitting on top of the darn thing. You cut around it and you cut around your cabinets. It's okay to have your refrigerator and your stove on it. It will have, what do you call that? Those aren't permanent objects. Permanent objects being like an island that's screwed into the ground. Permanent object like your countertop, so you're going to want to butt right up against them. And also keep that 1/4 inch gap away, because that floor just needs to float. Okay, back over here, the way that you put them in, make sure that you got the fat lip over here and you start on this end. And the way I got my measurement was, I have wherever it went. Anyways, a chalk line. You can see my chalk line that I started on. You throw a chalk line all the way down straight. You throw another chalk line this way, so that way, and you dry lay your tiles and get an idea of where they're gonna drop at and where they're gonna stop at. You don't wanna start. You see how I got this 3 inch gap. So the 3 inch gap, I don't want a piece that's gonna cut like that, and no walls are perfect, so don't get discouraged. Just try to find the best possible way to start, meaning that if this wall is off by a 1/2 inch, because actually this wall is off by almost a whole inch, whoever installed this house. So what you're going to want to do is find the best possible way, and what you're going to do is drop that line, take your measuring tape, measure this distance, measure that distance, try to get them as close as equal as possible so they all fall straight. Measure this way, measure any way you can, and see how your tiles are going to play. It's just a lot of measuring is what you're doing, and find the best possible solution for you to start laying your tile. Okay, back over here to the box. Like I said, I'm not going to use a filter on this, so you guys can see exactly what distressed Life-Proof looks like. This is some good tile. It's 100% waterproof, the one that Home Depot makes. I've already used it and very happy with the product. It's perfectly perfectly precision cut, almost like a Lego. The thing drops right in. So when you go to snap these in right here, and say you go to put them in, if you see a little fine, thin line in there, what you want to do, you're going to want to get one of these tools, because if you come over here, when you go to, they're drop and lock, but what you do is when you drop them, and make sure, here's another thing, biggest complaint this product has is, when you drop and lock it, say this seam right here, you take a mallet and you put it in right there, and you make sure there's no gap. Once you drop and lock this and you try to separate this, your grooves that lock together right here, they'll shatter. Shatter meaning they will break. You probably won't be able to use one or the other or both of the tiles. So when you hammer this part in, you better make sure that that's where you want it. You get one shot at it. And then usually when you drop and lock it, you make these kiss together, going left and right. This seam right here is what I mean by kiss together. You make sure this one is accurate, and when you drop it, this will usually have a little fine, thin line right there. And you take this tool right here, you can see, I'll show you guys what that looks like, and you butt it up against right there. Keep your hand pressing down right here while you beat on this. And when you do that, bang, bang, bang this way, like this, so you bang on that, but make sure you keep your hand here so it doesn't slip and wreck this edge. Keep your hand on it, bang, and then these will butt together and you'll have no seam. Do not proceed without looking at every single seam, being that if you go to proceed and you have a little gap here, every single tile from now on will have that gap. So you better make sure you do this or do it right, and if you hire somebody, you better make sure you watch over their work. Don't just sit there and tell them, oh, put my floor in and leave and have a nice day. Okay? The light on goes right there in this room. Shut it. I want to show you guys what it looks like with lighting and without lighting, so you guys can get an idea of what it really looks like without all the filters. Not as much brown as they tell you. I'm going to throw some pictures up of what I'm talking about with the tile on the filters at the end of this video, so you're going to watch that. It's not a lot of tan, a lot more gray. It's called distressed. So really just make sure, probably order one box and see what the heck they look like. With the multi-width, I wanted to add in, there's different patterns that you do. They say pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3. I went with my own pattern because I couldn't understand their pattern because they didn't show you enough of it when they talked about it. Turn the light back on, Boo-Boos. Okay, so the pattern that I went with, here's what I went with, because you get an equal amount of tiles in each box, meaning that I think you get 3 of these, 3 of these, and 3 of these. 2 of these pieces, the small and the medium, fit together and equal out that one. So what I did was, you see how I got a big tile right here? That's one big tile. And over here you got a medium one and a skinny one. So what I did is I put these together and I did every other one was a fat one, skinny medium, fat, and if there was more skinny medium, that's what I would do. But what I did, it didn't matter, because this was going to be your question, where I put, stop shaking me, the medium or the small. I put them every which way, whatever which way I wanted. That's the pattern I went with. So just flip them how you want on the skinny medium, and then fat, and then skinny medium wherever you want, being the skinny one there and the fat one there, or the fat one here and the skinny, that didn't matter. So just trying to throw some tips in there, but that's the pattern I went with, and you can see it gave it a cool look like you wanted in your picture, and pretty happy with the outcome going. Just got about 4 more days of laying this thing, but okay. So around heat vents, obviously you'd mark your heat vents, and what I used was a jigsaw to cut out that. And I get you one of these squares right here. That's a nice tool because when you mark where it is, you can easily draw out and cut perfectly where it's at. Instead of starting exactly at the wall, because like I said, you need that 1/4 inch. Unless you got spacers, you can put spacers all along your wall. Every time you go to bang one of these in, it's going to want to move that way. And the last thing you want is that line that you've got marked over here moving, and your whole floor will be messed up or moved. So what I did is I put these little 1x1s, screwed them into the floor. They're now holding in place. That way when I bang on it, it's not going anywhere. My line stays where I wanted it. Any other tips for these people?
No.
No. I think you guys can handle it from here. Keep that 1/4 inch gap away so the floor can float. And you guys should be able to do this. So Life Proof by Home Depot, floating floor, vinyl plank flooring, or any vinyl plank flooring. Maybe you can pick up some tips here. So make sure you have a mallet. Make sure you have that. I actually scored these with my utility knife by using this tool right here, the square. What I did was lay it there, put my knee on this part right here, put my hand right here, and my right hand scored. With 4 scores, I was able to snap it. For the pieces that were a little shorter and I couldn't snap, I used my chop saw. I think that's about it. I think you guys, that's probably everything, or mostly everything needed to know about this flooring. It is 100% waterproof. It was $319 a square foot. So for 800 square feet, it cost me about $2,500. Also, I'm going to throw this tip in there. If you're buying it from the Home Depot, this is for all vinyl plank flooring at Home Depot or any product at Home Depot. Go on eBay, and I paid $25. Stop banging, boo-boos. I paid $25 for a coupon. Type in 15% coupon Home Depot. It maxes out at $200. I paid $25 for it. I did 2 separate orders, and I was able to save $400. I paid $25 for each coupon. I still walked away with $350. Put some money in your pocket. Purchase one of those coupons. They do work. Awesome deal. So if this video helped you out in any way whatsoever, give us a thumbs up and have a good day. Bye-bye.
Please subscribe.
Oh, or they could just give us a thumbs up. Bye-bye.
I couldn't cut the pasta.
Yes, I'll cut the pasta. Okay, bye everyone. As you can see, this is what's on the internet before you purchase it. If you're purchasing it online, it does not look like this. I don't know why they would use a picture that's filtered for something you're purchasing. Nowhere near like this. You guys could see the difference, and this is what I was expecting, but I'm happy with the outcome anyways.